Hey guys, welcome back to Self-Care Haven. I haven't made a video in a very long time, but today's a special occasion because I have exactly 100 subscribers on YouTube. So that's a pretty amazing feat for someone who started out with barely 5 subscribers only 4 months ago. So I'm really excited about that. And I also experienced a rather spiritual awakening recently when I got to see Marianne Williamson live. For those of you who don't know her work, she's an internationally renowned best-selling author and spiritual change maker, guru, whatever you want to call it. And she's the author of dozens of books, I think, one of which is the most popular is called A Return to Love. And she is part of the Course in Miracles tradition. If you're not familiar with that, I suggest that you look at the description in this video because it'll provide some links to her books and other resources that I will talk about. And I just wanted to share with you some of what I've been reading from her book because I think it's important to people like us who are either survivors of emotional trauma, people who've been in relationships with narcissists, just people who are looking for a better self-care regimen. And I just wanted to share some nuggets of wisdom from her book because I feel like they've definitely affected me and they definitely resonate with my own philosophy on life right now, and they also resonate with my own transformation and my own journey to healing, a journey that I'm still taking with all of you. And I think if you learn nothing else from this video, one point that I'd like to just talk about specifically is that the point of our biggest crisis, our greatest crisis in life, will always be the crux of our transformation. So what I mean by that is when you get to the point where you feel like you're in like the biggest crisis of your life, and that might change over time. Obviously, you'll face other stressors along the way, and your biggest crisis right now will not necessarily be your biggest crisis overall when you look back at your life trajectory. But whatever crisis you're facing right now, the greatest crisis you can say that you've faced in your life thus far, is going to be the turning point which leads to your greatest transformation, but only if you let it. And what I mean by that is that you still have a sense of agency as to how you approach that crisis and how you approach that turning point. There's probably been many times in your life, if you look back, where there were certain crises that you experienced, certain traumas that you may not, have faced in a way that was transformative. And that's not your fault. It's just that that's the way that you faced it. It depends on the resource that you had at the time. But if you look at your life right now and you're watching this video, so obviously you've come to the point where you do believe in self-care, you do believe in healing, hopefully, and you do believe that there is help out there and that there's potential and promise out there. So when you look back and maybe you're living it right now in this present moment at your biggest crisis thus far, you have to know that it has great potential. Great potential for transformation. Let those words sink in. Your greatest crisis in life thus far has great potential for your transformation. So I'm going to share some nuggets of wisdom from the book, and while you process that, I hope you'll be thinking more about what I've just told you. So as you guys know, I read from my Kindle Fire because I love Kindle, and of course my book is also on Kindle as well. So I will be looking at my notes and bookmarks to find some nuggets of wisdom. So here's one quote. The moment when the pain is greatest is a wonderful opportunity. The ego would prefer that we never look directly into the pain. When in a crisis, the ego would prefer that we not go into the crisis. The ego prefers that a mild river of misery run through the background of our lives, never bad enough to make us question whether our choices are creating the pain. The process of miraculous change is twofold. 1. I see my error or dysfunctional pattern. 2. I ask God to take it from me. The return to love is the great cosmic drama, the personal journey from pretense to self, from pain to inner peace. Miracles are the counterforce. When love reaches a critical mass, when enough people become miracle-minded, the world will experience a radical shift. And here's some quotes that I love that she talks about regarding our interpersonal relationships, romantic and friendships and otherwise. Our neuroses in relationships usually stem from having an agenda for the other person or for the relationship itself. It's not our job to try to make a relationship into something we think it could be. If someone doesn't behave like a great romantic partner, then perhaps they're not meant to be that for us. That doesn't make them wrong. Not every relationship is meant to be the ultimate romance. If the train doesn't stop at your station, it's not your train. In the holy relationship, we don't seek to change someone, but rather to see how beautiful they already are. It is our failure to accept people exactly as they are that gives us the pain in a relationship.